Millionaire sees Maid's daughter dancing with his disabled daughter. Then he did the unthinkable. The night was electric, crackling with an energy that felt almost alive. In the opulent mansion of the millionaire, echoes of laughter and music filled the air, but one captivating sight stole the show. A spirited young girl, the Maid's daughter, twirled in the center of the grand room. Her smile radiated joy as she danced, unaware of the piercing gaze directed at her from the other side of the room. That gaze belonged to the millionaire, a wealthy man burdened by an unbearable secret. His eyes flicked back and forth, from the girl to his own daughter, who sat in her chair trapped in a body that couldn't keep up. The stark contrast of the moment was jarring, and it pulled at something deep within him. The music swelled, and time slowed. Every note hung in the air. The Maid's daughter spun faster, her skirts flaring like petals caught in a spring breeze. But in the shadows, the millionaire felt a tightening in his chest. His daughter, confined to a wheelchair, wore a look of longing mixed with pure envy. He couldn't stand to see her like that, trapped in her own skin, wanting so badly to join in, her heart beating in rhythm with the dance she could never share. An ancient impulse, something primal, bubbled to the surface. He was a man who had everything: money, power, connections, but faced with his daughter's simple wish, he felt utterly powerless. The whispers of those around him faded into background noise, guests chuckled and exchanged pleasantries, unaware of the storm raging within him. But amidst all the laughter, there it was, a flicker of something dark, a reckless thought that spiraled like a comet through his mind. If only she could dance. Before we continue, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. A hush fell over the party, a moment pregnant with expectation. The Maid's daughter stopped, breathless, and looked over, catching the millionaire's eye. In that split second, something shifted. It felt as if the world itself held its breath. Time hung thick, charged with uncertainty, and all at once, his heart raced. Who would dare cross the line? What was brewing behind that hypnotic gaze? He stood there, trembling with a mix of excitement and dread. What would he do next? Would his longing for his daughter's happiness lead to a choice that could unravel everything? The question loomed large as the dance floor filled with a swirling tide of feelings, waiting for the next act to unfold. The silence shattered as the millionaire made a sudden move, breaking through the spell that had gripped the room. Guests turned, confusion mixing with curiosity, but he hardly noticed. The music swelled again, an irresistible chorus of violins and laughter beckoning him to act. "Bring her here," he commanded, his voice a deep rumble that surprised even himself. The maid looked at him, eyes wide, caught off guard by the request. Murmurs rippled through the crowd, snippets of disbelief cloaked in hushed tones landed like bombs around them. For a moment, it felt like time had paused. The maid hesitated. The air crackled as expectations hung heavy, thickening every breath. Each soul present, lit up and frozen like moths drawn to a dark flame. Anxiety crept in as he felt their gaze pierce into him, dissecting this decision that could unveil the deepest, darkest facets of his nature. Then, as if possessed by some urge he couldn't fully grasp, he took a step forward. He pointed toward the maid's daughter, her smile fading as shadows danced across her face. Yes, her. There was a certainty in his tone, something that surprised even himself. As the young girl hesitantly approached, he could see her wide eyes mirroring the same mixture of excitement and trepidation that swirled within him. She took his cue, a flush of color rising to her cheeks, brushing against the uncertainty that clung like perfume in the air. His daughter, still sitting in her chair, gazed on, her expression a blend of hope and disbelief. It was as if she were witnessing a lifetime of possibilities condensed into this one fragile moment. Every heart thump felt amplified, each beat echoing the desperate wish that maybe just maybe this could bridge the unbridgeable gulf between her wheelchair and the dance floor. The two girls stood face to face. The maid's daughter, hesitant but emboldened by the palpable warmth radiating from the millionaire, extended her hand. "Come on," she whispered, her voice barely breaking through the buzzing tension. Was this the moment? The millionaire felt the tide of emotions sweep through him. He could practically taste the exhilaration mixed with fear. What would it mean to fully grasp this idea, this dream of letting his daughter dance? Would he cross a line, and if so, which line would it be? Just give her a chance, that inner voice urged him forward. He stepped back, creating space, allowing them to embrace the magic of the moment. The millionaire's heart raced as they began to dance, the young girl guiding his daughter's hands clumsily. They moved, slowly, awkwardly at first, but cradled by the gentle pull of the music, soon it transformed into a shared rhythm. Gasps erupted from the guests as they witnessed the spectacle, a swirl of innocence and desire crashing together on the dance floor. Laughter and whispers filled the room, but for him, nothing existed outside this bubble of fragile connection. The world faded into a faint murmur, replaced by the bliss of seeing his daughter's laughter bloom amid the notes of a melody crafted only for them. But as the moment unfolded, it ignited questions darker than any light could cast. Was he abandoning propriety? What were the social contracts he was risking this night? Each twirl erupted the significance of every choice he had made until this juncture. Just as he began to lose himself in the joy, a sudden crash broke through, a frantic shout threatening to unravel everything, sending fear wrenching through his gut. "Stop this! You can't do that!" Head spun. The crowd shifted, their expressions now a sea of disapproval and shock. What had he unleashed? The dance stumbled to a halt, and the thick tension woven into the night was suddenly palpable. He stood there, heart racing, breath hitching, feeling the chaos unfurl in his very grasp. What fresh hell awaited him now? As the commanding voice echoed, grounding him back to reality, questions raced through his stranded mind. Had he pushed too far this time? Who dares to interrupt? The millionaire's voice boomed, but inside, anxiety choked him. He scanned the crowd, desperate but knowing he had pushed boundaries that shouldn't have been crossed. The source of the disruptive shout emerged through the throng, a tall, well-dressed man, his face twisted into a scowl that spoke of authority and judgment. "It's disgraceful. Disrespectful." The man jabbed a finger in the air, relentless in his condemnation. Guests shifted uncomfortably, eyes darting between the unyielding voice and the dancers frozen mid-motion. The young girl recoiled slightly, sensing the swift change in atmosphere. The millionaire's heart sank, and he instinctively stepped closer to shield his daughter. The moment he had dreamed of had morphed into an impending nightmare, and the bright dance floor felt like a cage. "We dance to celebrate life, you fool!" The millionaire shouted, summoning a scorn that rose from his core, but insecurity trembled beneath the surface. "Why should my daughter, or anyone for that matter, be robbed of happiness because of what others might think?" Gasps pierced the air, more gasps where there should have been applause. The crowd, once captivated, now found themselves divided, whispers of support tangled with the judgments. A couple in the back murmured about propriety while another group openly cheered for the audacity of the moment. The displeased man advanced, violated by what he deemed a mockery of decorum. "This isn't some carnival. Your daughter, don't you dare speak of her." The millionaire would not allow disrespect to seep into this fragile moment. "She deserves to live fully, to feel joy just as anyone else does." But even as he spoke, doubt gnawed at him. What if he was just indulging in a foolish fantasy? What would they think of him when the night concluded? The maid's daughter stepped forward, her young face flushed as she gripped his daughter's hands tighter, a signal of defiance against the hostile voice. "I don't care what they say. I just want to dance." Her innocent bravery lit a spark in the millionaire's shaken soul. The crowd held its breath, waiting for one or the other to unravel completely. "Is this how you choose to represent yourself?" The tall man retorted, the disbelief palpable in his voice. "A man like you, unraveling over a girl's whim? Not a whim, a wish. You're the one lost in the shadows of your own judgments. Spitting the words, the millionaire felt a rush of adrenaline. But a flicker of uncertainty held him back. Doubts turned into a tempest inside his chest. He clenched his fists, feeling the weight of the expectations he had fostered, the image he cultivated so painstakingly. Was he risking it all to prevent his daughter from becoming a target of ridicule? The music stayed suspended, thick in the air, vibrating with tension. Do you not see the light in their eyes? He insisted, gesturing towards the girls, their smiles vulnerable yet radiant, like flames against the dark. This is more than a dance, it's about breaking chains that bind us to our past. He took a breath, searching for the right words to strike a chord. But hesitating whispers from the crowd began to deepen the chill gripping him. Meanwhile, his heart raced with impatience. The tall man straightened, a smirk carving across his face. You think you can change perceptions with a few clumsy movements? In that chilling moment, the millionaire made a decision that would echo beyond the present. Would he forge ahead with this reckless gamble or retreat to the misconception of duty? But as his mind raced, the unexpected crashed over him like icy water. A figure stepped into the light, an old acquaintance of his past, someone who should not be here. What secrets lay behind their reunion? His heart began a wild thrum. The figure emerged from the shadows, an apparition that sent a shockwave through the crowd. It was Marcus, once his closest confidant, now clad in the unmistakable wear of hardship. The suit that once fit perfectly now hung loosely on a gaunt frame, the spark of ambition in his eyes dimmed. The millionaire's heart raced not just from the surprise, but from the haunting memories Marcus represented. Marcus, what are you doing here? The words slipped from his lips, barely audible over the clamor of disbelief around him. Marcus took a moment, scanning the crowd that held its collective breath. I came to find you, old friend. His voice was controlled, but a hint of desperation seeped through. I need to talk about, well, let us just say tonight is more than a celebration for you. The hard-faced man stepped closer to Marcus, contempt pooling in his gaze. And you think you can disrupt this gathering to share your nonsense? No, no. The millionaire protested, stepping forward with wary determination. If Marcus is here, it means something. We need to hear him out. Yet inside, doubt gnawed at him. Could Marcus truly have something worthwhile to say? The atmosphere churned, whispers escalating between intrigue and disgust. The tension pressed against him, each heartbeat echoing his fear. Marcus held his ground, locking eyes with the millionaire. It's about your daughter, and her future. You have to choose wisely tonight. What do you know about my daughter? A bead of sweat trickled down the millionaire's back. The weight of the accusations in the air felt heavier by the second. All around, glances burned into his skin, judgment mounting like a tidal wave. Everything and nothing. Marcus shifted, his frustration palpable. You've always been blinded by what others think, always pouring your soul into the facade of wealth and prestige. The crowd was riveted. The millionaire felt his pulse quicken, each word from Marcus chipping away at his carefully curated image. They were right. Each luxurious holiday, each extravagant party, it had all been a desperate attempt to shield himself from the truth, but Marcus' next words tore through the tension like silk ripping apart. This isn't just about tonight. The choices you make will define her future. Suddenly, the sounds of laughter and celebration felt hollow. The millionaire turned to his daughter, her wide, innocent eyes searching his for reassurance. Would she remember this as a joyful night of dancing, or the moment when her father faltered? You're risking more than just a reputation, Marcus continued, his voice dropping to a near whisper. You're risking the very happiness you promise her through your silence. The crowd was now utterly silent. Intimidation had morphed into a shared uncertainty. How do you know what she wants? The challenge hung in the air, the millionaire's pulse drumming in his ears. Doubt lingered ominously, suffocating. I know she wants to be free, Marcus said, glancing toward the maid's daughter still grasping his daughter's hand, a symbol of the untamed spirit aching to leap into the world. Just as we all do. The tall man scoffed, but his confidence was cracking. Murmurs of acceptance flickered within the audience. Even the millionaire's staunch supporters faltered, torn between the allure of conformity and the raw appeal of unrestrained freedom. "Just dance!" the maid's daughter shouted, her voice reverberating like a clarion call. "Let us be who we are." A spark ignited in the crowd, swaths of people whispering encouragement now. The spell of tradition faltered, the air alive with emotion and raw energy. The millionaire stood caught in a tempest, a world of choice swirling around him. Did he have the courage to break the chains, to stand with his daughter against the storm that surrounded them? The silence stretched like a taut wire, and in that moment, the unthinkable pushed against the edges of his resolve. Would he step forward and join the dance, risking everything? Or would he retreat into the shadows, forever haunted by what could have been? The weight of the moment hung heavy in the air, silence thickening until it felt like a heartbeat itself. What lay ahead had never been so uncertain. The moment hung, electric and oppressive, as the millionaire faced the blank slate of possibility. It was as if time paused, the air thick with unspoken dreams and fears. In the distance, the laughter of the maid's daughter created a sharp contrast to the silence surrounding him. Her voice, a beacon of raw authenticity, pierced through his crowded mind. "Just dance!" it echoed, beckoning him like a siren's call. Marcus stood vigilant, his intense gaze unwavering. This was more than just a plea. It was a lifeline, a chance for redemption. Yet even as everything he held on to slipped through his fingers, the shadows of doubt began to claw back at him. Was he truly ready to push against the tide? His daughter, innocent and hopeful, remained oblivious to the tumult beneath their feet. Her bright eyes danced with yearning, reflecting all the possibilities that lay within her reach. But could he trust Marcus? Could he trust himself? As the silence stretched, the millionaire felt his muscles ache, anticipating an action he wasn't sure he could take. The crowd watched a mass of faces painted with curiosity, cynicism, and an undercurrent of hope. He could practically feel their breath on his neck, each exhalation laden with expectation. That he glanced back at the maid's daughter, brave and unrestrained. She twirled gracefully, laughter spilling out, the embodiment of uncontainable spirit. With her in the room, all shackles of propriety faded. And then it happened, as if awakened from a dream, the millionaire felt a flicker of rebellion ignite in his chest. Ignoring the tightening knot in his stomach, he remembered the joyous dance parties of his youth, the freedom of movement without judgment, the sheer exuberance of being alive. For so long he had chained himself to expectations, a cruel iron anchor of his own making. But tonight, she was right. It was time to celebrate living, to thrive. Facing his daughter, he felt a surge of warmth, even a hint of fear. What would this decision mean for her? "Will you join me?" he asked softly, heart racing. The words felt foreign yet liberating. His daughter blinked at him, processing the invitation. Slowly, a smile broke across her face, radiant and pure. She took his hand, every bit of her trust pouring into the clasp of their fingers. He turned back to the crowd, feeling their anticipation shift. No longer were they mere spectators, they were participants in something much greater, in a potential revolution of spirit and authenticity. With a deep breath, he stepped forward onto the dance floor, feeling the warmth of vibrant energy swirl around him. And then it began. The rhythm pulsed, drawing out the suppressed joy buried beneath layers of privilege and expectation. His feet moved not with grace but with desperate abandon, breaking every rule that had ever confined him. The crowd erupted. Individuals slowly joined in, hesitant at first, then with unabashed enthusiasm. Laughter rang out, growing bolder with every beat, and as others let go, the millionaire felt transformed, lighter, alive in ways he had long forgotten. But even as the world around him erupted into movement, an ominous shadow flickered on the edge of his consciousness. "It's not enough just to dance," Marcus warned from the sidelines, his voice drowned out by the vibrant chaos. "You have more to lose than just a reputation." The millionaire was torn. How could he enjoy the moment when the specter of consequence lingered like a dark cloud? His spirit soared as he spun his daughter around, but dread coiled in his gut. Freedom came at a price. What if this was only the beginning? What could be waiting in the shadows, lurking just out of sight? As he spun her again, laughter spilling around them, he caught glimpses of uncertainty on the faces surrounding them. Was this the thrill of liberation or a prelude to tragedy? The dance intensified, heartbeats pulsing as one. In that exhilaration came a haunting realization: the real decision lay ahead, spiraling toward an edge he could not yet see. What he couldn't shake was the sensation that change was coming. And with it, the truth that the night held more secrets than joy, more danger than celebration. As the crowd surged, something shifted deep within him. Could he face the truth? Would he dare to confront what loomed beyond the festive lights? The exhilarating pulse of the music drowned out his worries, but the shadows grew restless. The night was still young, and with it came a question: how far was he willing to go to safeguard the future of those he loved? The line between freedom and recklessness blurred with every beat, and with each twirl, he felt the grip of fate tightening. What waited for him at the dawn? An even darker reckoning. The music thumped like a heartbeat, each pulse drawing more and more bodies into the swirling fray. The millionaire felt alive, electric, yet the prickle of unease lingered at the back of his mind. As he twirled his daughter, the laughter ringing from her lips distracted him from the weight of Marcus's warning. But when he caught her gaze full of joy, trusting, an ember of guilt flickered within him. What kind of father was he, steeped in the consequences of his decisions yet desperate to hide them? The laughter around him echoed wildly, freeing him for a moment, but he could still feel the tension threading through the atmosphere like an unseen serpent. Dance! A voice among the crowd shouted, and suddenly, even the most stoic faces broke into grins, eyes sparkling with relief from the pressures of the world outside. But within the millionaire's chest, that cloud of doubt swelled ominously. As they twirled, the maid's daughter danced nearby, her grace a beacon of unrestrained joy. Her movements were unapologetic, vibrant, a stark contrast to the gilded cage he had constructed. But then, a chilling thought pierced through his euphoric haze. What did this mean for her? The spark of rebellion ignited a fire within him, emboldening him further. So, he dipped his daughter low, laughter erupting like bubbles breaking the surface. The crowd erupted in approval, their excitement spiraling like a cyclone. Yet, amidst the exhilaration, something shifted. Out of the corner of his eye, he noticed Marcus's expression twist from concern to something else, something darker. The man's stance was rigid, fists clenched tightly by his side. Time didn't stop, but the world felt like it did, heavy with Marcus's unvoiced fears. "Look out!" Another voice screamed, sharp and piercing. Suddenly, chaos spun to an abrupt halt. The rhythm faded, swallowed by a silence so deep it was tangible. The music stuttered, a record scratch disrupting the joyous noise, and a collective gasp rippled through the crowd as they realized the source of the disruption. A figure from the back surged forward, a man, tall and menacing, pushing through the throng. His face was set, jaw tight with fury. An air of malice surrounded him, charging the atmosphere with danger. "What do you think you're doing?" he bellowed, voice thick with accusation. "You think a night like this erases your past?" The colors from the dance floor faded, as fear pooled at the edges of the crowd. Whispers erupted, panic spreading like wildfire. The millionaire felt the laughter die in his throat. Was he truly so careless? His heart raced, drowning in disbelief and fear. Each beat echoed louder than the one before, heralding a confrontation he never thought he'd face. Marcus stepped forward, swift and agile, standing between the intruder and the dancing millionaires. "You don't have to do this," he shouted, hands raised in peace, but the man laughed, a harsh, discordant sound that sliced through the air. "Your precious seconds of happiness are about to end." His eyes roamed the crowd, locking onto the maid's daughter and the innocent face of the millionaire's daughter. There was a predatory glint in his gaze, and the millionaire's stomach dropped. "Get away from them!" he shouted, the words torn from his throat like a scream. But before he could even comprehend the chaos unfolding, the man lunged forward, and the pressing crowd now shifted ominously, a vast sea of uncertainty, time slowed, heartbeats drumming in unison with the anxious whispers and mounting dread. In that moment, the realization hit with crushing weight: his battle for freedom had drawn potential disaster straight to his family. Was it too late to save what mattered most? Would the night end in more than just reckless abandonment? Before he could react, a hand reached into the pocket of his coat. A flash of metal caught the dim light, a glint of something sharp, poised to cut through the darkness. The millionaire's heartbeat thundered in his ears, visceral dread clawing through him. What had he awakened by daring to dance, as the looming confrontation spiraled out of control? One question reverberated through his mind: could he protect his daughter from the storm he had unleashed? And then, as the world collided in chaos, another figure emerged from the shadows. Who would they choose to stand with? The shadowy figure stepped forward, face obscured yet unmistakably fierce. The crowd parted like the Red Sea, an invisible force pushing everyone away from the brewing storm. He was tall, his presence suffocating, sending chills cascading through the millionaire's spine. A flicker of hope kindled inside the millionaire, yet dread tangled with it, twisting tightly like barbed wire. "Run!" Marcus shouted, his voice raw with urgency. He extended an arm toward the girls. But as they hesitated, paralyzed by fear and confusion, the intruder's gaze narrowed, locking onto them with terrifying determination. "Do you think they'll ever be safe?" The man growled, taking a step closer. His eyes glinted, narrowing in on the maid's daughter, who had unwittingly become a target in this escalating madness. The millionaire lunged but felt an iron grip around his arm. Marcus held him back, shaking his head firmly. "You can't confront him. Not now." The urgency in Marcus's voice combined with panic was a thunderclap in the millionaire's ears. What could this man want? What horrors was he capable of inflicting? And more importantly, what had the millionaire done to bring this darkness upon them? The man took another step, an unsettling grin creeping across his face. "You want to protect your precious girl? You have to decide how far you'll go," he taunted, an undercurrent of menace threading through his words. He raised the flash of metal, reflecting the dim lights, ready to spill chaos into their world. "Stay behind me!" The millionaire barked, positioning himself protectively in front of his daughter and the maid's girl. Their wide eyes filled with fear mirrored the uncertainty clawing at his insides. But the man laughed again, a chilling, dissonant sound that pierced through the terrifying silence. "Protect them?" He stepped back, almost mockingly. "Let us see how well that works out for you." His hand twitched, ready to strike. The crowd tightened, a small universe caught between fear and the frantic hope of escape. The millionaire felt the world crushing in, his heartbeat echoing with terror. He couldn't let anything happen to the girls. Could he really fight this stranger? The thought of exposing his daughter and the maid's daughter to harm shook him to the core. Suddenly, from the back, a familiar figure emerged, tall and commanding, the last piece he hoped would ignite the spark of salvation. It was his wife, fearlessness radiating from her like a shield. "What is going on here?" she demanded, taking long strides toward the chaos, unwavering as she stared down the intruder. Every eye turned her way, some hopeful, others filled with disbelief. "Stepping in is a dangerous game," the man sneered, his focus shifting. "Unless you all want the night to escalate into something more violent." The tension thickened, electrifying the air as his words hung ominously. The millionaire could feel the walls of safety crumbling. His wife had always been the brave one, but that bravery had led them down this treacherous path. Was he willing to put her in the line of fire now? He forced himself to breathe, to think. Would she back down? Would she understand the vital stakes of their predicament? In that brutal moment, he faced a reality that threatened to rip their family apart, shuddering at what stood before them. "Do you love your daughters enough to make the ultimate sacrifice?" The intruder challenged, raising the sharp metal glistening wickedly. "Then prove it." The millionaire's breaths grew heavy, realization spiraling through him. His choices had led them here, but the night wasn't over yet. An ugly truth lurked behind every accusation, promising devastation. What sacrifices would they have to endure to protect their family from the predator looming before them? And was he prepared to confront the demons of his past that had drawn this terror into their lives, the very essence of survival mingled with dread? The stakes were higher than he had ever imagined, and darkness swirled closer. Where would the line be drawn? And whom would he have to betray to save the ones he loved most? The tension in the air was palpable, a thick fog of fear wrapping around them like a suffocating blanket. The intruder's gaze flickered, a predator searching for the weakest spot in the herd. The millionaire's heart raced, an echoing drum that drowned out the murmurs of the crowd behind him. "Leave them out of this," he shouted, his voice breaking with desperation. The threat hung in the air like a guillotine, ready to drop at any moment. The man tilted his head, as if considering the plea, and a sinister smile creased his lips. "Leave them out," he echoed mockingly, making a slow circle, studying each face, each wide-eyed stare reflecting shock and disbelief. "You don't understand. They are the entire point. Step away from them." The millionaire urged again, the weight of his protective instinct igniting a fire in his gut. He was losing his grip, the balance of power inverted with every passing second. The tall figure reveled in the chaos, a conductor orchestrating a symphony of fear. "Tell me," the intruder continued, his voice low and measured. "What does love mean to you? Would you still be so brave if it meant losing something you cherish?" He drew closer, metal twinkling ominously. "Are you prepared to pay the price?" Panic flashed across the millionaire's face as he glanced back at his daughter and the maid's girl. Their faces grimaced in fear, their innocence hanging by a thread. His wife stood unwavering, her body slightly tense, ready to leap, to defend. He felt torn, forced to confront a choice he never wanted to face. "I can't let you hurt them," he yelled, desperation rising to a fever pitch. The crowd held its breath, the night stretching painfully as if time itself had betrayed him. "Your inaction speaks volumes," the shadowy menace retorted, stepping closer, narrowing the distance that felt like chasms wide enough to swallow whole worlds. "You think you can shield them? But it doesn't matter that you want to protect them. This is about you, and the monster that you truly are." "What the hell do you mean?" The millionaire's voice faltered, puzzlement flashing in his eyes. The man's words struck him like thunder, sending his mind racing through memories he desperately tried to keep buried. Fragments of decisions, glances exchanged in dimly lit hallways, betrayals cloaked in deception. With that grin still haunting his every thought, the intruder spoke again, his voice a whisper wrapped in silk. "You've danced around your sins long enough. Tonight, I reveal them to the world." "Reveal?" The millionaire echoed, his mind racing. Images surged, lost opportunities, broken promises, sacrifices laid bare. Suddenly, understanding crashed over him, a boiling wave of dread. Those shadows in his past were converging here and now. The community, the maid's daughter, the eyes of judgment around him, they all bore witness. "Stop. Just tell me what you want." The millionaire's voice cracked under the strain, guilt overriding his courage. The man drew closer, his eyes almost feral, thirsting for the truth. "I want you to show me your love. It's time to prove you're worthy of their lives. Or watch as they become collateral damage in your vile, selfish history." The millionaire's heart thudded in his chest, realizing the stakes. He could either honor the darkness that betrayed him or attempt to rise above it, a choice that could shape the fate of his family. Outside, the night whispered secrets as tension held everyone in a deafening grip. "You must step up or watch them suffer," the intruder said, the blade gleaming under a now dulled light. "The choice is yours. What would he sacrifice? Would it be enough to save them, or would it cement his fate?" He steadied himself, feeling like the weight of the world rested squarely on his shoulders. The question loomed large, eclipsing everything else. What would he do to turn the tides of darkness threatening to engulf them all? The millionaire felt a surge of adrenaline that coursed through his veins. Time slowed, each beat of his heart resonating like a thunderstorm gathering fury. He glared into the eyes of the intruder, fierce determination battling against the icy grip of fear. The crowd behind him had fallen into a hushed silence, their eyes glued to him, waiting. Waiting for a sign, a movement, some glimmer of hope. "Enough games!" he shouted, his voice cracking with raw urgency, yet he dared not break the gaze of his opponent. The man took a step back, a hint of surprise flashing over his face, the smile slipping momentarily. This was an opening. A fleeting chance to regain control. "What if you're wrong?" The millionaire pressed, a knot of desperation tightening in his chest. "About love. About sacrifice. Don't you want to know if I can truly prove it?" The intruder's interest piqued. He leaned closer, intrigued. "You're spinning words, but what will you offer?" "A mere plea, one T save them." "Will you offer your wealth? Your reputation? Or something deeper?" Each option weighed down on him. He could offer money, the kind that could drown out secrets. But would it be enough? He thought of his daughter, playing in the yard, laughing, blissfully innocent of the cold world around her. He was a man of wealth, but at this moment, that wealth felt like chains, pulling him under. Fury bubbled inside him. "What do you want? Some twisted confession?" His eyes darted back to his family, their faces pale, fear etched into every feature. The maid's girl clung to his daughter, both girls trembling with confusion. "It's simple," the intruder said, stepping back but never breaking the disdainful stare. "You must be the one to decide how deep your love flows. Actions speak louder, but here your choice affects all. What will it be?" The crowd, their breath held, became a chorus of gasps and murmurs. Whispered judgments hung in the air like smoke. The pressure suffocated. The millionaire lost track of his thoughts, the weight of their expectations crashing down. Then, in a flash of clarity, he seized the moment. "You want to see love? Fine." Ignoring his own trembling heart, he stepped off the crumbling platform of power he had clung to for so long. "I'll prove it. But you won't take them from me. You want a sacrifice? You'll have one for me right here. Right now." A ripple of surprise spread through the crowd as he took another step. Every heartbeat echoed in his ears. An instinct screamed that he was stepping into an abyss. The intruder remained silent, a predator poised to strike, intrigued by the millionaire's sudden resolve. "What will you give up, then?" he sneered, eyes glinting with dark amusement. "I'll give you my secret," the millionaire proclaimed, his voice resonating with newfound conviction. "My past, the mistakes that haunt me. Make me yours if it means saving them." His body tensed, expecting the darkness to swallow him whole, yet he felt lighter somehow. The shadows whispered, tempting him with visions of what surrender would look like, but he pushed them aside. He had a chance to save his family. A subtle smirk returned to the intruder's face. "Interesting choice, but let us see how sincere you are." The crowd murmured, caution mixed with hope. It became suddenly clear, every sacrifice had a price. And as the intruder raised his blade, a fateful decision lingered in the air, ready to reshape their lives. Fear and hope intertwined as the millionaire braced himself for what was to come. Had he truly chosen love, or merely invited more devastation? In this moment, the line between savior and sinner blurred dangerously. Who would walk away unscathed? The intruder leaned closer, and in that charged silence, the tension thickened, a brutal crescendo building toward chaos. What revelation would this promise of sacrifice unleash, and who would be left standing at the end of it? The energy in the room was a storm, volatile and electric. The millionaire stood at the precipice of chaos, the weight of his impending choice looming large over him. The intruder's eyes gleamed with anticipation, a predator ready to consume whatever he offered up. "Let the truth taste sweet or bitter, I'll bear it all," the millionaire declared, forcing confidence through the tremors of dread clawing at his insides. His voice quelled the anxious murmurs from the crowd as they leaned in, desperate for resolution. Each face felt like a mirror reflecting the stakes he could no longer hide from. The intruder's smirk widened. "Oh, we'll see just how savory it will be. And remember, your sacrifice isn't just a confession. It's your daughter's fate on the line. With precision, he flicked the blade, glinting menacingly in the dim light, a cruel reminder of the gravity of their standoff. The crowd held its breath. The air around them thickened, laced with tension, as the millionaire squared his shoulders against the mounting storm of judgment. I grew up with everything, wealth, privilege, and a name that could open any door. But buried beneath layers of success, I've carried secrets, he started, voice cracking but resolute. Secrets built from fears too heavy to carry. I severed ties with those who mattered most, a friend, family. I had it all and destroyed so much. My actions cast shadows that have lingered, haunting me since. Gasps sliced through the air, shocked whispers rippling amongst the crowd. He pressed on, his heart racing yet liberated with each word. In pursuing the masterpiece of my life, I forgot the essence of what matters. I lost touch with my daughter, allowed perceptions to guide my choices. The doors I opened left my heart locked away, far from the ones I love. His gaze locked onto Marcus, the man whose face reflected shared pain. I let someone else's judgment chain me, and now all I want is to untangle that bond, for her to dance, to laugh without the weight of my missteps. I choose love over reputation. A heavy silence blanketed the room, the collective disbelief merged with tension as they waited for the intruder's response. The man narrowed his gaze, digesting the millionaire's transparent offering. Each word had risked a life, but it ignited an ember of hope inside him, a promise to protect. Sacrifice accepted, the intruder said, a wicked grin unfurling on his lips. But let us not make this too easy. I want evidence of your sincerity. He brandished the blade like a wand, sending tremors through the audience. Let us put your will to the test. Would you shield them with your own blood? Fear gripped the millionaire, a vice tightening around his chest. The room swirled a haze of colors that bled into one another. Would he truly bleed for them? Just as the room trembled with anticipation, his wife stepped forward, face pale yet unwavering. No. She shouted, cutting through the chaos like a lighthouse amidst a storm. You don't have to pay such a price for love. You've already chosen. Let your bond with them be your shield. The intruder's gaze flickered, a wry smile still etched across his face. Ah, but love often begs for proof, does it not? With all strength pooling in his chest, the millionaire turned to his wife. We stand together, that creates another layer of protection, our unity, our love. The words felt like an incantation against the darkness. The intruder recoiled slightly, unease flickering across his face. Unity? A mere illusion. Maybe. But a powerful one. The millionaire replied, silence offering solace. We were broken once, but love binds. It isn't some primal obsession sourced from dissatisfaction. It's raw, and it thrives in trials. It's our commitment to be braver together. Gasps rippled again through the crowd, breath caught at the brink of expectation. The girls looked on, wrapped in a cocoon of hope, fear, and love, their innocence intertwined amid the shadows. Let love be my defense, then, the millionaire declared, stepping into the light, crossing the unspoken barrier between surrender and commitment. But bind me to more than blood. I'll give up my name in the eyes of the world to grant my daughter the freedom to be who she is, unburdened by the chains I put there. The past remains shadowed, but tonight, we rewrite the future. The intruder's eyes darted back and forth, calculating the impact of the millionaire's metamorphosis. Very well, he replied, a shroud of confusion replacing the malice. Your change of heart manifests an unexpected victory. Let us share in the dance, unshackled by fear. With a rush, the millionaire stepped toward the dance floor again, inviting the girls to join. It was time to reclaim their joy. The maid's daughter reached out for his daughter, pulling her into the vibrant swirl of movement, laughter erupting like sunbeams piercing through clouds, and as the shadows receded and the laughter echoed, the intruder stood on the fringe, shock slowly melting into confused admiration. The night transformed from an impending nightmare into a whirlwind of freedom, unity, and declaration. Tonight, we become free, the millionaire called, as the music surged back, lifting spirits and stretching bodies. Each flicker of movement cast aside their fears, one twirl and giggle at a time, with warmth wrapping around them like a blanket, the strength of the dance poured affirmation into their souls. The storm that had rattled their lives faded, quelled by the fragile courage ignited through shared vulnerability. As they all twirled together, the millionaire realized each choice carried weight, but love lifted them higher than any darkness they battled. "Let us dance." His daughter beamed, spreading joy that wrapped around them all like a safety net. And so they did. Daylight broke on the horizon, a promise of new beginnings. Hand in hand, laughter soaring, they became a living testament to love's power, a family united, forever unbroken. Don't wait another moment. Subscribe immediately to our channel to ensure you don't miss out on more exclusive stories just like this one. Smash the like button now to boost our algorithm, and let your support be heard. Flood the comments with your reactions and theories about this incredible ending. Finally, instantly share this video with at least 5 friends who need to witness this transformative conclusion. You need to show your support because true fans understand the importance of these actions.